We're in Austin, Texas at BCE 2017. I'm here with Madhu from Tata Communications Transformation Services. Madhu, great to see you.
Thank you.
As the name of the company suggests, you are a transformation services specialist. What is your view on what operators need to do in terms of their transformation strategies as they plan for 5G?
Yeah, it's an interesting question, and then I think most of the service providers across the globe, they have been looking to find what does this transformation itself mean. In fact, we, along with people like you and then many of the other supporters across, we as Tata Communication Transformation business, we did ask many of the service providers across the globe. So if I just prioritize what do we mean by transformation, it's not such a word which is alien, it's not that it is not known, but when I just jot down 1, 2, 3 things which I can think of, the first thing which comes across is that your physical network transformation, which you move from your legacy capability into a futuristic capability. I'll explain what this means. And next one it comes is the overall automations or the OSS / the systems which are supporting the infrastructure itself. And very close on that is the one, it also is required a mental retuning, basically the cultural transformation. So if I just sum up this, one, there is a technological transformation, which is you are starting from a network centric or service centric into a more intelligent centric network.
Okay.
Then cultural, when I mean that cultural transformation, it's basically is that it talks about how the upskilling of the people which are required and the type of activity which today's or yesterday's service providers, the people who used to do, it will be totally different, or the requirement of the skill itself would be different. I think as a transformation professional experts, I think these are some 3 or 4 areas which we jotted on.
So can you just tell me how the TCPS Telco Transformation Framework can help operators to de-risk and accelerate their transformation programs?
So if I have to sum it up, what is it me as a transformation specialist, which I would see this, the graduation itself needs to happen from a network centric / infrastructure centric into which today what we are into a service centric, which is more related to the what network, what type of geography, what type of partner, and hence what type of service runs into it. Again linked to some OSS / BSS controlling them into a much more intelligent / smarter networks. That's the way I put it. The reason why I'm saying is that intelligent / smarter network, what I mean is it needs to be a lot of analytics into it. It needs to have a lot of business intelligence to it. It needs to be more predictive. It needs to be more anticipative. And it is not an English or it's not a qualitative statement which I am trying to put it, that every activity what you have, or the service providers are the ones who has the maximum number of database or the information.
Yeah.
It is a question of how do you utilize them and then become that much more proactive in terms of customers' engagement. So this is clearly an area where I would see that transformation is not something which is one, unknown. Number 2, it is not that it can wait for ever for us to be transformed. And across these 3 or 4 specific sectors what I mentioned, I think it does have a lot of merit in how the transformation itself could be looked at.
Okay. So another one of the things that TCPS is involved with is IoT, and you're actually involved in the rollout of one of the biggest IoT networks in India. So from your experience, what kind of advice would you give to operators that are looking to get into the IoT sphere? What do they need to do if they've got an IoT or smart city strategy?
It's an area where you go to a service provider or you reach any geography. IoT is the thing which in the offing today actually. But I can tell you that I would definitely take pride in saying that we are one of the early adopters, and then we would have gone through the curve of, I'd say, the learning curve of how this whole IoT deployment itself is being looked at. And we are, as we speak, we have been deploying a few thousands, if not tens of thousands of the particular technology deployments in India, which today it's not specific to any applications or any industry. But I can tell you the platform and the infrastructure what has been put in place today. We are going with LoRa as our technology. But when I say the experience, or when I say the various steps which involve, starting from the design/engineering of this IoT base stations, then locating, and then more specific to that type of applications which are required, and integrating that with the platform, which basically is the one which is managing the whole IoT part of the infrastructure. And also, as we speak, we are also working on a lot of sensors with multiple sensor providers which are there in the offing. How does this sensor itself behave with respect to the application providers what are there in the market, specific to the industry requirement, be it your healthcare, be it your automobile, you can name it. To start with, it is more, our focus is more towards retail, healthcare, and automobile. These are the three areas which we have focused on. And then obviously there are some specific pilot customers with whom we are already in the process of testing out the scenarios, and then hence how it works. And in addition to this, what we also, as TCPS or the transformation company itself, what we have been doing is, we all know that you do need OSS, you do need BSS, you do need for all the systems and tools for managing any telco network. And how do you feel different in terms of an IoT? It is just that it's a machine-to-machine communication vis-a-vis your human-to-human communication. So how does the whole IoT platform gets linked to rest of the ecosystem of the management, the assurance management, your delivery management, your sensor performance, and then quality of the inputs what we have been giving, and also put an analytical layer around it. So to an extent, I can tell you that we do have that length and breadth of at least initial hiccups what any network learning which we would have gone through as such. Actually, it has been a fantastic journey for us.
So coming back to 5G, what's the sort of key advice you would give to any organisations just starting out on planning their 5G strategy? Where should they start?
Clearly, I think if I just sum it up in 3 different sentences: one, look at your getting all of your network IP. Number 2, your RAN becoming virtualized, depending on at what stage of your transition which you are going through in terms of your RAN networks. And then your IT infrastructure reshaping or getting virtualized, aligning with the rest of the other infrastructures itself. Actually, clearly it's a very, very interesting time we are in. I never get bored about
absolutely no. never a dull moment, never a dull moment. And so, as I mentioned, we're here at BC in Austin. What are would you say, the key trends that you've heard people talking about, or that you've encountered here at the show?
So coming back to this BCE itself, I think it has given to an extent relevance to what we are doing, and also credibility to what I speak in front of the customer about. These are the priorities, or these are the top 3 things which they would want to be changing, and hence my transformation framework, which as TCPS itself we have been working on. It has given a strong validation and I would say a sort of credibility in terms of what I believe in versus what I see this as a part of it. In fact, I must congratulate the whole event itself, that I think they have done a great job in terms of collating the width of the information in a short span of 2 days, what we have been doing it. Thanks a lot for this message.
I can't take any of the credit, but I know that my colleagues have put on a great event that is very relevant for the industry.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, Madhu, great to see you. Thanks very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thanks a lot.